Kicking it with Jay. We back in the building. Was supposed to have an intro song by now. Still don't have that, as you see, but hey, we here anyways, man. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the video. Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you decided to stop by here with me tonight, and I appreciate you for that. Weird game that we just witnessed. Weird, very weird game. So obviously on Kicking It with Jay, we're gonna do what we do every week. We're going to break down the games coming up this Sunday and talk about the game we just watched. Now, this probably, I can't even remember what was the game last week, to be honest with you. But I know this week we had the Cardinals at home taking on the Green Bay Packers. Now, you know the Packers was missing like their top three receivers. The news that J.J. Watt going to be out, will most likely miss the remainder of the season with a shoulder-ending surgery. Bro, I was looking at Undisputed talk about J.J. Watt today, bro. The number of games this man done missed the last couple years, man, it's crazy. But, so, how y'all doing today, man? Good? Gravy? Chilling? Kicking it? Respect. Yo, this was a game. This was a game. So, not a lot of offense in the beginning of the game. Also, one thing about this game, not a lot of throwing yards. Like, a lot of the throws, like, bro, it was probably like 5 throws in all this game that went for over 10 yards. Kyler had 2 of them. Aaron had 1. So probably not even 5. Probably just 3. Shit was crazy. A weird game with 2 quarterbacks who good quarterbacks. But it was a lot of dinking and dunking and short route screens and shit like that the whole game. I hate watching games like this. I'm going to be a whole band with you. Not a fan of these type of games. I think I done said that before on the podcast. These games boring as hell when you see teams do this type shit, because it might work here and there, but then you expect the defense to eventually come up and start to play that shit. So then it just become missing tackles, not attacking the ball, just real goofy type shit. And that was this game basically. I mean, both offenses really play. I mean, the Packers, I will get the Packers. They ran the ball pretty good tonight between A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. But Jesus Christ, man, what a game. So, skipping all the way to the end of the game, when the game really mattered, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers had a chance to go up by 2 scores with, under like 3 minutes or some shit like that. And they in the red zone. Mind you, they got stopped in the red zone early in the game for 3. They got stopped again, but I believe a flag or some shit. No. They went for it on 4th down and got it, and then they finally scored with Randall Cobb. But the Cardinals' defense was pretty decent in the red zone tonight. You got to think, they didn't have J.J. Watt. Now, I know a lot of people think J.J. Watt's still a big-time producer. No, the last couple weeks, I believe I read a report that said he had a couple quarterback hits, so he was finally starting to, get into the groove and blah, blah, blah. But I know I heard a report that said he was playing his way into shape because he joined so late in the season. But I'm starting to agree with Skip when I saw him say on his show today, like, he got to play himself in shape because his body beating the shit. And when you listen to all the different injuries that J.J. Watt done had, it's all different injuries. Back injury, shoulder injury, pec injury, leg injury. Like, it's crazy how many different injuries on his body done keep that continues to happen. It's pretty wild. But J.J. Watt to me is more of just name, more so than production on the field now. Like, I know in 2018 or 17 he had 17 sacks again. But if you really look at his whole, like, the last couple years, it's just not the same J.J. Watt that you saw his first couple years or when he was in his prime. His prime ended rather quickly because he get hurt a lot. I mean, he an injury-prone player now, but I don't think they really missed him. The interesting thing about, so like I said, we're going to start in the back of the game. I mean, at the end of the game, because it's really no point in going over this entire game. I mean, the game, like I said, it was a bunch of dinking and dunking and running. So, the thing about Kyler Murray missed a throw down the middle to Christian Kirk where he overthrew him. And I don't know if that come from throwing it short all game, and when you finally unload to go long, you finally miss it. I don't really know what it is, but yeah, it was weird. It's not really weird to see Kyler and the Cardinals play like that, though, because the Cardinals run a lot of screens. You know what I'm saying? Like, I watched the Cardinals. I watched both teams, but the Cardinals offense really, and that's why it's so funny when I hear analysts and like anonymous GMs and shit take shots at Lamar Jackson and the Ravens and say how that's a high school. Like, it was a GM who came out and said, an anonymous GM. I'm starting to think that these dudes are saying that and just blaming it on anonymous GMs. But one of them came out and said that the Ravens run a high school type of offense. So what was we watching tonight from Arizona and the Packers? Because at one point in time, neither team had thrown the ball further than 10 yards down the field or completed a pass for more than 10 yards. Like, so what are we talking about? Like, is this just a let's all find ways to hate on Lamar Jackson and say untrue shit, or is we gonna just, you know what I'm saying, be honest and, you know, judge? Because Lamar Jackson lead the league on yards per attempt, like air yardage. So I'm not too sure about how that's working out. But yeah, the offenses from both teams tonight didn't look great, didn't look spectacular. For the offense, for the Packers, I can understand it a little bit. They didn't have their weapons. But really, if you look at the Packers this year, and I said this on the last Kicking It with Saint podcast, bro, the Packers haven't really looked like they haven't really put together. Like, I saw the stats the other day since they lost game one. Aaron Rodgers thrown like 15 touchdowns, 1 pick or some shit like that. And they done won 7 in a row. But you can win. It's just, to me, like I said, it's like the Steelers, bro. Like, the Steelers started off hot, and then towards the end of the season, you knew that wasn't the same team that started the season. And right now, to me, like I said, maybe the Packers is just, you know, gearing in the form or whatever. But the Packers don't really look great to me right now at all. Like, I'm sorry, it is what it is. Their defense looked decent tonight. No, the defense looked good. I'm not gonna lie. The defense held Murray and them boys to as low a point score as I believe they could have held them to tonight. Because they didn't let Murray and them boys go crazy on them, and they didn't let those screens and shit break crazy for a whole bunch of different yards and shit like that. So the Packers defense did exactly what they needed to do. To be honest, I really think the Packers defense played way better than the Packers offense tonight. Yeah, like, the Packers did get a 95-yard score, and then the defense immediately gave up a score to the Cardinals. Like, that shit was embarrassing. Like, and I done talked about that multiple times on here, how your team go down there and score, and then your defense just immediately give up another score. And I really don't know what the excuse for it is, because it was a 12-play drive, 95 yards. They ended in a touchdown. You should be fresh going onto the field, and they gave up a touchdown drive. And it was funny because the touchdown drive didn't really involve a ton of big plays. It was legit just dinking and dunking to get up the field. Like, it's funny. Stephen A. Smith, a dude who sit back and wait for Lamar Jackson to have bad games to yell out he's not a good quarterback. I wonder what he's going to think of Aaron Rodgers and Kyler Murray tonight, who did not play unbelievable quarterback play tonight. Like, it was just a throw it to the running backs, throw short to the receivers, little hitch routes, little 5-step drops, shit like that. It wasn't nothing sophisticated. Motherfuckers wasn't going vertically up and down the field. It was more of a horizontal style of game for both teams, really. We throwing it from to the sidelines, hoping dudes pick up yards and making dudes miss and shit. And running the ball, that's really what the game was. And shout out to James Conner. I think they said this motherfucker got like 8 or 12 touchdowns since becoming a Cardinal, and he had all that in his time with the Steelers or some shit like that. I'm pretty sure I just said that stat wrong, but yeah, shout out to James Conner for playing better with the Cardinals. But the Cardinals was the last undefeated team in the NFL. They lose tonight. I believe that I picked the I'm trying to remember, who did I pick to win? Y'all gonna see it on the pod on the different slides. If you watch the videos, if you watch the podcast on YouTube, you're gonna see the different slides and shit. I'm interested. I cannot remember who I picked. I think I picked the Cardinals to win this game because of all the injuries to the Packers receiving corps. Because if Aaron Rodgers don't throw, and what's funny is Aaron Rodgers and the Packers actually did exactly what I thought they was gonna do tonight. The Cardinals just played completely like they didn't do what they were nowhere near as explosive as I thought they were gonna be tonight. What's interesting is I don't really know why the Cardinals look this bad. And then Kyler limped off the field at the end of the game. He probably straight. I hope he's straight at least. He started limping after he took like a hit when he tried to run out of the pocket. But late in the game on that last drive. Like, I would say the last drive of the game for the Cardinals, that was probably the best looking drive up to that point as far as like going down the field throwing it. Because he hit A.J. Green twice down the field. And then before I get ahead of myself, the Packers was in the red zone, like I had said earlier, to basically seal the deal. And they got called it was a touchdown at first. Like, Aaron Jones ran in, they called it a touchdown. I could see on the replay that it wasn't a touchdown. So I didn't think they was gonna reverse it. Even though I thought it was clear that it wasn't a touchdown. Cause like his ass hit the ground before the ball crossed the plane. When his ass hit the ground, then he leaned back into the end zone. So I knew it wasn't a touchdown, but I didn't think they was gonna change it. And then this one of them reasons I don't listen to the announcers, because they will talk you to death into convincing you that some shit should be a score when it's not, or something should have been this or that when it's not. You get into the point where you don't believe your eyes and your own logic when you listen to these announcers. That's why I try to look at games without the sound on. But that play right there, and then the Packers offense just looked. I'm just telling you, man. I'm not taking a shot at Aaron Rodgers. Lord knows I'm not taking a shot at Aaron Rodgers, but the offense just didn't look that great to me. And I said it before, like I'm reiterating this point. The Aaron Rodgers led Packers that I saw last year don't look like it. Nothing the same this year. Like, to me, this Packer team is beatable. They should have lost. Actually, this was funny. They actually should not have lost, but they should have lost. It's funny because, like I said, they don't score that thing. It get reversed. So they go back to try to score. It's like second down. It end up getting all the way to fourth down, and they don't. It's a turnover on downs. This is what's crazy. Earlier in the game, they was in the red zone again, right? And it should have been a stop, but Aaron Rodgers threw this tight pass on the side to I'm not talking about the when he hit Randall Cobb for the slant in the middle in the red zone. I'm talking about when he hit Randall Cobb on like the little floater passer. I can't even remember the name of that pass right now. But he hit him with the fade route. He hit him with a fade route in the end zone on the right side. That ball should have got picked off. I don't know what Edwards Jr. what the fuck he see, that's what I'm saying when I say cornerbacks starting to really piss me off in this generation, bro. That's an interception by a good cornerback. Richard Sherman is picking that ball off. Darrelle Revis is picking that ball off. Bro, it is a lot. Shit, Trayvon Diggs for the Cowboys more than likely is picking that ball. I don't understand. Like, and then another thing that happened in this game tonight, another reason I don't watch the game, Joe Buck had Aaron Rodgers' dick so far down his throat, bro. It made no sense. Not Joe Buck, Troy Aikman. Like, Aaron Rodgers made a bad pass at one point in time, and Joe Buck was like, yo, that was a bad pass by Aaron Rodgers. And Troy Aikman went on like a 5-minute dialogue or diatribe of why that wasn't a bad pass, why the receiver should have been. And it just lets you see and let you know how they make excuses for some quarterbacks, but not for other quarterbacks. You see what I'm saying? Because Lamar Jackson had a route like that on Monday night against the Colts where he threw a route in the end zone to Marquise Brown, and Marquise didn't catch that ball, and they kept talking about, oh, it's a bad throw, and it was a different announcer crew. But I'm just telling, this is how announcers work in general. If you watch the game, they love who they love, and they critique every little fucking thing with everybody else who they not so sure of, or who they not a household name and shit. So you see them continuously critique Lamar on the throw when, in actuality, to me, that was a catchable ball. Marquise drops a lot of catchable balls that get blamed on Lamar, and they'll just tell you, oh, it's a bad throw. Aaron Rodgers made throws tonight that were uncatchable that the receiver still caught. Like, he threw the ball too low on some of his throws and shit like that. They still got caught. But when they didn't, they would immediately blame it on the receiver, bro. It's crazy how that shit work. But I'm not here to critique and get at Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan. I'm just telling you how the media works. Stephen A. is not going to get on his show tomorrow and tell you that Aaron Rodgers is a bad quarterback or Kyler Murray is a bad quarterback because they had subpar games and for Kyler Murray a bad game. You're not going to see him get on the thing and say that. You're going to see him probably get on and give Kyler and Aaron different excuses. But when you see Lamar have a bad game, that's not the same case. I'm just trying to show y'all how this thing works. They belittle Lamar. They go at him, tell you he can't throw. They question everything he done to that point off of one loss. Mind you, against the Bengals, he played better than Joe Burrow. He actually had to dissect the defense. Joe Burrow got guys hitting guys who's wide the fuck open. It don't take nothing to hit guys that's wide the fuck open. And that's not a shot at Joe Burrow. I want you to understand. I don't have to tear somebody down to pull somebody else up. That's not me taking a shot at Joe Burrow. That's me giving you a factual statement. If you watch that game, Lamar Jackson was playing the better game. Joe Burrow started to get off when the Baltimore Ravens defense decided, that's our day. We're done. That's what happened in that game. But Stephen A. still decided to come on TV the next morning and tell you, All the reasons why Lamar Jackson ain't a good quarterback, why he don't believe in Lamar Jackson. You got to remember, this is the same dude who continuously shitted on Cam Newton after Cam Newton carried his team to a Super Bowl with no receivers, basically. And you never hear that. You always hear Stephen A. belittling Cam, talking about how he can't throw and shit like that. Do you see him do that to other quarterbacks who haven't taken their teams to Super Bowls? Aaron Rodgers hasn't been in the Super Bowl in years. The last Super Bowl Aaron Rodgers went to against the Packers, Charles Woodson was still playing. Charles Woodson has been retired from the game for a minute. The only quarterback that's religiously getting the Super Bowls on a year-in, year-out basis is Tom Brady. Yet, Stephen A. only decides to hold that standard against Lamar Jackson. Now, I know some people might be looking at this show and thinking, why the fuck do he talk about Lamar Jackson all the time? Well, I'm a Baltimore fan. You should have known that if you look at the channel. And also, it's going to be a lot of Raven talk mixed in between this because that's the team I watch the most. Also, we don't have an episode to quote the Raven this week. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. I'm not sure. It's a bye week. So, that's why. So, that's all I'm saying. That's all I wanted to point out. Because Kyler had a bad game. Kyler had 2 interceptions. Now, that last interception, I don't really blame on him. But Green Bay don't score on that end zone, on that red zone play. And it's a turnover on downs. And instantly, I'm thinking to myself, they just blew it. Because for one, it was a 3-point game. If they take the field goal, which they should have took, in my opinion, you have to make the Cardinals score. The Cardinals have not been able to consistently score tonight. I don't know why you don't trust your defense now, but you also can make the argument they got to go, 90-plus yards up the field, so I'm not mad at that either. However, they do have timeouts. So, Kyler Murray and them boys do what they do. They start to actually go up the field, which was shocking, throwing-wise. That shocked me. And towards the end of the game, a couple seconds. What's funny is I thought they was going to set up for a field goal. They were actually setting up to use the rest of that time to win the game, which I don't blame them for it. And he threw the ball in the end zone to A.J. Green, and it just looked like A.J. Green stopped playing. Like, that shit was wild. And Rasul Douglas ended up making a dope-ass interception. I don't know why I can't talk right now. But Rasul Butler, Jesus Christ. Rasul Douglas ended up making a dope-ass interception to seal the game in the game. I don't know what the fuck A.J. Green was doing. I really don't know what the fuck A.J. Green was doing. It's like he started to run his route, then I see it on Twitter. It's like people saying his controller died or some shit. Yeah, that's what it looked like. I mean, man's just stopped running, stopped working, stopped trying. Like, he didn't even try to stop dude from getting the interception. It's like, that shit was weird. That was crazy. That was crazy. The Cardinals did not look great tonight, but I've watched the Cardinals this year, and I told you after that Browns game, like, the Cardinals are beatable. They are a beatable team. But what's crazy is tonight they could have won that game. It's actually pretty interesting that they didn't win that game, seeing as how they was at home and the Packers didn't really play great. Like, this is a game that, to me, the Cardinals are supposed to win. I understand Aaron Rodgers on the other side of the field, but you got Kyler Murray, and you got Green, and you got Hopkins, and you got all these other studs. You got Zach Ertz. Like, I don't understand how they ended up losing this game. When A.J. Green did it, but you can't just blame. Like I said, football is not one of them games where you could say, oh, it's just that one play. This is just not that type of game, in my opinion. So many things happen throughout the game that change the game and that can cause you whiz. So it's never what they, but that what they by A.J. Green was pretty wild. But the Cardinals ended up getting their first loss of the season. But what I'm most interested in this game, because this game didn't really blow my socks off, nothing like that. Like I said, at one point in time, it got kind of rough sitting through this fucking game. I didn't know if I was going to make it through it because of how these offenses was playing. And I know some people the fans of the team going to be like, oh, well, we ain't have receivers. There's no excuse for the Cardinals. The Cardinals run this type of offense all the time. Green Bay defense just came to play. However, I don't know what I hope this don't continue. Like, if Green Bay's offense this year done basically been, if Devontae Adams not open, we dinking it, dunking it, or throwing it away, and I just don't see them beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers like that, bro. I really don't. Like, you might be able to hold Kyler and them boys to that, but it's going to be stupid hard to hold AB, Mike Evans, Godwin, Fournette, Howard, Gronk when he get healthy, all at one, with Brady throwing him the ball. That's going to be a tough beast to stop. And even though the Packers won this game, and I don't know really why I feel like this, I still think the Cardinals better than them. And I truly don't know why I feel like that after this game, because this is a game where I should feel the opposite. But I just really feel like, and it's crazy because like I said, the Packers really tried to blow the game multiple times. But I feel like this just was not, to me, this is a Cardinals having a bad game finally. Like, this was, they done had games where they could have probably lost and they done things in the game that could have cost them. This game was just like they just fell apart in this game. You can see it. This was not a normal Arizona Cardinals game. I wouldn't put too much into this game, to be completely honest with you. Like, I wouldn't look at this game and be like, oh, they can't beat the good teams. They done beat the Rams. Like, they beaten good teams. So I don't think. Plus, if you the Seahawks, if you the Cardinals, you can't be too stressed. I mean, now you got the tied with you still in first place because you beat the Rams. The Rams the only other team in that. The Cardinals are making the playoffs. Like, they're either making a wild card or they making winning that division, unless they completely fall apart and just go absolutely downhill from this point on, which I do not see happening. Because like I said, I like the Cardinals defense. The Cardinals defense didn't play a bad game. I think both defenses just got a little bit tired, a little bit exhausted from chasing these dink and dunk plays all the way around. And hey, Tom Brady said defenders are like dogs, and when you see a game full of dinking and dunking, you start to think that, like, it's just see ball, chase ball. It's not pre-planned ahead of time. Now, I don't agree with Tom Brady said. Obviously, my favorite player of all time is Ed Reed. You think I think he was just a dog out there chasing the ball? No. And I also wouldn't have said what Tom Brady said, but Tom Brady is Tom Brady, so completely different thing. But like I said, if I'm the Cardinals, I wouldn't be too stressed out. Well, you do need to make sure Kyler Murray healthy and figure out what the fuck was AJ Green doing. But other than that, I just look at this as an off game, to be completely honest with you. Because the Pack, they could have won this game for one. The Packers didn't look that great. Now, you could also say the Packers didn't have their receivers, but to me that would just be they didn't have Devontae Adams. They still had both running backs and still could have lost tonight. Aaron Rodgers with the dink. Man, this was rough watching Aaron Rodgers have this type of game. I know you got to do what you got to do sometimes, but man, this was a weird game. And I don't even think Aaron Rodgers is in the top 5 passing yards so far this year. That's going to be on the screen, so you can see that visually if that is the case, because I done the research and posted it on one of the slides. But I don't believe Aaron Rodgers is in the top 5 passing yards this year. And then, and if he in the top for touchdowns, well, just look at this type of game. He threw for 180 something yards for 2 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns in the red zone. I really think it was 2. But this just not a. This was a short week game, and you could tell. One team didn't have all their weapons at their disposal. The other team just came off of playing on Sunday, more than likely. That's the only thing I can think of for why this game wasn't as explosive as possibly we thought it was. Now, it's a stat, or I think it was a thing that said every game in the NFL is usually decided by, 6 or fewer points. So, I mean, if you're looking at it like that, then here's one of them cases. But I just think one team was having an off night in the Cardinals, and the other team didn't have the weapon that it would use to probably create more offense than just the dinking and dunking that they was doing the whole game. You know what I mean? Like, I really thought this game was gonna blow me away, or was gonna be like an exciting game. Wasn't until like the last couple minutes. So, and it really wasn't even exciting because of shit people was doing rather than shit people wasn't doing. Green Bay wasn't picking up the touchdown or the first down and shit, and so that was, you know what I'm saying? But hey, it was a weird game. It was a very weird game to me. But the Packers ended up getting that dub, big dub. Packers really ain't got nothing to worry about in their division either, because they're going to win that division. Especially if the Vikings lose to the Cowboys this weekend, it's a dub. That division's over. They're winning. I mean, they were going to win that division before the season started as long as Aaron Rodgers was back. But to see that these teams in this division don't really look like they done got that much better from last year. I'm not talking about the Packers. As far as competing against the Packers in that division, the other 3 teams, yeah, it's crazy. But enough of that game. let's get into some of the games of the week. But first off, I gotta just say something, bro. Cause I was looking at the Knicks play against the Chicago Bulls, and I'm missing the Warriors play Memphis right now. I hope the Warriors get that dub. And so I cheer for the Bulls this year because my boy Lonzo Ball played for him. So I would just let you know that off rip. And Julius Randle missed both free throws at the end of that game that could have sealed the deal basically put him up by 3. But then DeMar DeRozan come over and missed the game-winning shot. Now, I don't blame that on DeRozan. Vucevic cannot bring his man over there while DeRozan is trying to set that shot up. That's a good play and everything, and DeRozan hits that shot. Vucevic cannot bring his dude over there to force a double pump by DeRozan. But that was NBA talk. We're going to eventually start an NBA podcast also. But first game, we talking about Bengals, Jets. Joey Burrow, cigar-smoking Joey Burrow, heading to the New Meadowlands. Hey, yo, Joe Flacco just got traded back to the Jets, but he not going to play. I think he inactive this week, and he probably won't even. I don't understand why he wouldn't start over them other 2 dudes on that team until Zach Wilson get back, but hey, whatever. I'm taking the, obviously, I'm taking the Bengals to win this game. The Bengals better win this game. It's no reason they should lose this game. The Bengals defense, for one, looked good. Even though Lamar Jackson was getting the best of them last week, they still had 5 sacks and blase. They was a good defense. I'm going to be honest with you. I think the Bengals are a good team. I've been saying that on the podcast all year. And right now, yes, they are better than the Ravens for the simple reason I like their defense far more than I like the Ravens defense. However, and to me, Jamar Chase better than all the receivers on Baltimore. They have a great receiving core, T. Higgins, blah, blah, blah. I still don't think Joe Burrow better than Lamar Jackson. It's easy to say quarterbacks is better than another quarterback when they got all the weapons in the world. They got the running game with Joe Mixon. They got great receivers to feed off of your top number 1 receiver. It's very easy to congratulate quarterbacks when they're doing that and then throw all the other superlatives at them. Oh, he done grew. Oh, he done got so much better. Blah, blah, blah. It's easy to do all that shit. But then you look at Lamar and see all the offense that he is responsible for Baltimore. Baltimore would probably not have a single win on the season if Lamar Jackson was not the quarterback of this team. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, if Joe Burrow wasn't the quarterback for the Bengals, it would be the same thing. That is very true. It's very true. But you can also plug in another quarterback in that position, and they could do what Joe Burrow is doing, if not better, slightly less. Now, listen, I'm not saying just plug in a Davy Mills or a Baker Mayfield. No. I'm saying plug in a competent quarterback, and you can get some things done with that type of offense. You can't just plug Joe Burrow into that Baltimore offense and think he's going to do what he's doing now. It's not going to happen. And I'm not saying, they run different schemes. No, I'm saying he ain't going to have the weapons that he has in Cincinnati. I love Marquise Brown. I love Rashad Bateman, even though we don't know what he's going to be yet. I love Mark Andrews. Here's the reality. I'm not stupid. I understand, aside from Mark Andrews, Jamar Chase better than everything we got right now. I don't know where Rashad Bateman going to be yet. I'm hopeful he's going to be a number 1 receiver comparable to Jamar Chase. But at the moment, Jamar Chase is better than everything we have. All right? But going back to the Jets defense looks decent, but you can only look decent for so long because your offense can't do nothing. Getting your asses whooped 50 by letting the team throw 54 on your head. They keep letting the Patriots bop their asses over their head like this, and I really don't understand how they keep getting blown out by the Patriots like this. This is not the best offense they're going to see all year. And they done seen better offenses who haven't put up these type of numbers on. I'm really confused on why they keep letting the Patriots smack them like this. Like, it's very weird that they keep getting smacked around by the Patriots like this. Their biggest losses this year done came to the Patriots, bro. And both of them done been embarrassing. And that's the biggest thing for the Jets, bro. When is it going to be? Like, this franchise is becoming embarrassing. Like, the only time they say good shit about this team is when, like, they talk about Joe Blabey for shit. And that motherfucker didn't even have a 500 record. Like, he was below 500 in his career winning-wise. So, I'm starting to feel for Jets fans. Like, this shit is embarrassing. This make you not even want to be a fan of football. This is the type of shit that make people jump teams and shit like that. And I'm a Baltimore fan, so I've never had to experience no shit like this. Like, the worst season for us was probably the year after we won the Super Bowl, because everybody started leaving and shit and was getting old. But other than that, I mean, Jesus Christ, bro. I can't imagine going through the shit that the Jet fans have to deal with, man. That's an incompetent organization at this point in time, bro. And I don't really know what you do to fix that team, because I refuse to believe these players are not trying hard, bro. Players don't want to lose, bro. You got to listen. Players want to make money. There's no way they're going out there and playing bad on purpose, bro. I blame the coaches and the organization for this shit. Now, yes, Zach Wilson is hurt. Now, for one, Joe Flacco better end up starting on this team if Zach Wilson is not back, because Joe Flacco is better than every other option they have. To be honest with you, Joe Flacco, in my opinion, is a better option right now than Zach Wilson. However, I agree with Zach Wilson getting put in the fire. However, if Zach Wilson keep playing as reckless as he does, and he's going to start occurring injuries and shit like this, and it's not really necessarily, no, it's reckless because the picks and all that. If he keep playing like this, you're going to have no choice but to sit the motherfucker for the rest of the season and let him play behind Joe Flacco, and so Joe Flacco can teach him and whatnot. Because I think, listen, I'm one of the people, I heard Skip say this early in the week, I am on the bandwagon of when you draft a rookie quarterback, if you don't have another quarterback there right now, start him. Throw him into the fire, let him grow. I am 1,000% with that statement. However, there are situations when a quarterback is clearly not ready, where he need to sit. Maybe Patrick Mahomes was ready, but I know they let him sit behind Alex Smith, and look what he is now. So, maybe Zach Wilson going to need to sit behind Flacco, so Flacco can teach him some things, because Flacco's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Doesn't matter what you people think or what the haters think of him. He's won a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP. He's one of the best playoff quarterbacks and playoff road quarterbacks. He went into Foxborough and did shit to Tom Brady that these other teams couldn't do. If the defense wasn't so dickheadish, he would have beaten Tom Brady multiple times, more times than he already did in Foxborough. So Joe Flacco could teach them a lot. Plus, Joe Flacco played with C.J. Mosley all them years, so that's already a connection he's going to have with one of the players on the team. So I'm expecting the Jets to get their asses smacked again this week, because they're not going to have Zach Wilson or Joe Flacco, so this should be an ass smacking at home again this week. So, hey, shout out to the Jets fans who actually go watch this bullshit. Like, shout out to you for wasting your money to go see your team get their asses spanked on a weekly basis. But the Bengals definitely should be winning that game. Next game, I'm excited about this game. I said I was going to watch a different game this week. I'll probably remember it halfway. On my last video I said that, but I don't know. I know this is the game I'll probably watch for a few minutes, because this could end up being a boring-ass game. And I was funny. So what I'm talking about is the Titans and the Colts. The Colts got the dub against the 49ers on Sunday Night Football, but that shit looked atrocious. Like, that was a ugly game. And the Titans are a way better team than the 49ers this year. Derrick Henry is basically fucking lapping running backs and rushing yards, bro. This shit is wild. Like, bro, I don't know how many more great years Derrick Henry got running like this, but sheesh. Hey, this dude, they run the fuck out of Derrick Henry. And I think that's obviously going to be the case again in Indy. Now, I'm picking the Titans to win this game, but this is going to be a good game to me, because if the Indianapolis Colts is serious about competing in this division this year, or winning this division and competing in the playoffs, this is a game you got to win. For 1 year at home, I said they had to win. Listen, you're going to be hearing me say Indy got to win a lot of these games recently because of how bad they started off the season. They put themselves in a situation where they have to do a lot of fucking winning to make the playoffs for the wild card. It just is what it is. Because you already got to think, like I broke down the other division last week in the NFC, when it comes to the Colts, you have to either win that division or pray to God Baltimore and Cincinnati slow the fuck down. Because with Baltimore and Cincinnati playing good, you know 2 teams in that division is coming out. If the Browns and the Steelers figure some shit out, then you're really going to be hurt, because neither one of them teams started as bad as you started. So, I'm very interested to see what the Colts do in this game. They got to play their asses off. I think Carson Wentz done. So Carson Wentz had some bad fucking throws, and he probably should have had about 4 interceptions in that 49ers game. This is gonna be interesting, bro, because there's gonna be a lot of running from the Colts. I mean, from the Colts can run the ball too with Jonathan Taylor. So it's gonna be an interesting. Now, obviously, you don't expect them to run better than the Titans with Derrick Henry and whatnot. And I really think the Titans are gonna run the ball stupid on the Colts in this game, even though it's an Indy. But I also think if you look at Ryan Tannehill and the weapons, Ryan Tannehill hasn't been playing out of this world or nothing, but he get the job done when you needed him to get the job done. And if both of his receivers healthy, it's hard for me to take the Colts in this game after seeing that shit that they put on the field last week against the 49ers, bro. It is very hard to pick the Colts to win this game, even though they at home. Because that was an ugly fucking game against the 49ers, bro. And I know it was raining, but Carson Wentz had 4 fucking throws that should have been interceptions. Not even counting the ones that were. And they lucked up because they was playing against Jimmy G. So I don't know, man. Well, I do though. I pick the Titans, but the Colts gonna have to show some fight, man, because this is their season. This is their season. So we're not gonna spend too much more time. And plus, actually, we're gonna spend a little bit more time with it. Darius Leonard, he could change this game. But it ain't going to just be him. He going to be the leader of it all. But they're going to have to tackle. This is going to have to be one of their better tackling games. As every team knows when they go face Derrick Henry. Probably going to have to be our best tackling game of the year. So, if the Colts show up in tackling and shit, they can win this game. But I'm definitely taking the Titans from what I've seen so far this season. Next game, not going to spend too much time on it. Rams, Texans. Listen. I heard a report that Tyrod Taylor done got healthy. Maybe he playing, but I don't think he is. But he is practicing, I heard. I don't care if he play. I'm definitely taking the Rams. This game in Houston does not matter. It look like they trading away all their good players. They just traded my boy Mark Ingram back to the Saints. I've been saying on this podcast all fucking season. Ravens need to go make a trade for Mark Henry. The Texans ain't using him. They don't need him. That's a bad team. Mark Henry is still a good player who could provide for us right now. He know the system. He know Lamar. They trust him. We didn't trade him. We didn't make a trade for him as bad as our running back core is playing. That's the one thing John Harbaugh irritates me with. And I love John Harbaugh. But his insistence, his unwavering belief in things that just don't work sometimes really pisses me off. And that offensive running game is not working. Lamar have to be the quarterback and the running back. It's not working. That is how you're going to get him hurt. That is how. He's easily the best runner on the team. Like, no running back is carrying their weight right now. I don't know why we didn't go make that trade for him, but the Saints just got a good one. But it's no fucking way the Rams lose this game. Especially seeing the Cardinals lose. They're going to be extra motivated because I believe they take over first place in the division if they win this game. If I'm not mistaken. If they got the same record after this game, then the Cardinals still hold first place because they got the tiebreaker with the head-to-head win. And they will play again this season, but it's no excuse for the Rams to lose this fucking game. Cooper Kupp leading the league in receiving yards, catches, and all that shit, I believe. So this should be another big game for him. The Texans defense, oftentimes, like I said early in the season, look like they just quit most of the time. Like, it dead ass. The Texans defense and the Lions defense is probably the two defense I done watched this year where it just look on any given play or any given drive, really. They just quit. They just let you throw whatever you want to. And I know I just said that players out there trying hard. Well, let me make and maybe it's just the defensive scheme calling. But boy, the Texans and the Lions secondaries and defenses just all around are atrocious. And they have drives where teams score on them so easy because dudes is running wide the fuck open, bro. I don't understand. This is much like the Jets situation, except for not just to like it, because except for not just the same as the just to like it. But the Texans haven't been as bad as the Jets have the past couple years. Obviously, they've had Deshaun Watson. But now it seems as though they're about to finally move on from Deshaun Watson. Now, remember, I said in an early video, in an earlier podcast this year, the Texans fucked themselves by trying to be big dog. Anytime a player has mentally checked out from your organization, you do your organization no favors. If your job is to win, if your goal is to build a winning team, forcing a player to try to stay there after they've mentally checked out does your franchise no good. You stall the success of the franchise. You stall the careers of the other players on the franchise. Because there's a lot of front players on that Texans team who did not think this was what they would be doing this year. That did not think that this would be what they was dealing with this year. And this is because the organization decided to play this bullshit game with Deshaun Watson. Instead of just trading him, they decided to hold on to him. And now he's on the team and he's not even playing. So did you really win? And if you feel like you won, was this worth it? Because this is ridiculous. And fans love to blame the players for this type shit. I don't understand why. The player has made it very clear to you he doesn't want to be here. The owner is the one forcing you to not be able to move on. I mean, they're going to talk shit about him on the way out anyway. He already got the 23 sexual assault cases. So I don't understand why they didn't trade this man from the rip to make their franchise better. See, anytime you get to wondering how you can make another team better by trading to them, you've already lost a trade. It don't matter how Deshaun make another team. Deshaun don't want to play for your team no more. Your team's no longer good. Your team chemistry is all fucked. Why would you let this situation linger this far into the NFL season? It's week 7. It was players who came over to that team in the offseason or players who stayed there in the offseason who thought this team was going to come back as a winning team. Rather they thought you were going to trade Deshaun or have him playing. They did not think this was what was going to be the case when the season started. And it is. And you can blame Deshaun all you want to, but Deshaun ain't the only one a part of this. Deshaun would have been gone if he could have been gone. The owner is what's forcing him to stay there. You didn't have a backup plan. You didn't need one. You just needed to trade Deshaun and get the best package possible. This is shit the NBA teams do when they hold on to players for so long. The 76ers or whole situation, that shit don't have to happen. But because you got dickheads running the team who's so caught up in their pride and shit like this, because this is only a pride and ego type of thing. Oh, he don't want to play for my team no more. This is why teams don't win. The 76ers will not be winning the championship in the foreseeable future because you put your team and your fans through dumb shit like this. You do all this thing where you blame the fucking players for all of it, and your doofus ass fans believe it, and then you're sitting there looking around and you realize, we hated that Anthony Davis left us, but this motherfucker won a championship his first year in LA, but he was the problem. Drew Holiday got out, won his championship his first year out, but Drew was the problem. Because I heard them people talking about trade Drew. So you keep giving your organization these passes for doing these dickhead things, and you let them paint these players in all type of crazy lights. You let them dehumanize players because you, as fans, are already so accustomed to doing it and so, flamboyant when you do it that you don't even realize the front office and the owners and the GMs is the ones killing your teams and your chances of winning shit by being just as stubborn as the fucking players. Listen, like I said, the players can't go nowhere when they want to be gone. They can just mentally check out and let the owner know. But anytime you got these dickheads, well, we paid you this contract and blah, blah, blah. Well, just know your franchise is about to be struggling. These situations that you got with Aaron Rodgers winning after this type of debacle in the offseason, that type shit don't happen often. Okay? They usually happen like the Texans situation and the 76ers situation. Now you got two great players not playing when you could have traded them and brought in pieces or another great player. Now listen, in the NBA, in the case of both actually, it's very rare you trade players of those type of. It's Deshaun Watson especially. You don't trade a player him and get the same caliber of player in return. I understand that. It was a bidding war for Deshaun Watson before those sexual allegations came out. They chose not to trade him. After the sexual allegations came out, teams still trying to trade for him. Chose not to trade him. Tried to make it nearly impossible to trade him, thinking that he was going to want to stay. The Texans did this to themselves. That's why I say they are much like the Jets this year, except for worse, because they didn't have to be going through this. They could have had Tua Tagovailoa and grown with him. They could have drafted somebody else in the draft and been grown with them, but they chose to play this shit out and try to continue to do this, dig their feet in the ground, dig their heels in, and be just as stubborn as Deshaun Watson. But at the end of the day, the player can't do anything. The player can either play or choose not to play. It is up to the team to trade him and get rid of him and bring in people who want to play. That's the thing. You keep hating these players for not wanting to play for the team, even though you quit jobs every time you don't want that job and find a better opportunity, or you don't stay at jobs when the employee's talking to you any type of way. You don't stay at jobs when it's a shithole job and they not doing anything to make it better for the job, and it feel like slavery every time you walk in there. But you decide to treat these athletes like that, and I find that very, very crazy. But I said I wasn't going to be talking about that game too long, and I really didn't talk about that game too long, more so the other situations. But the Rams should get a win in that game. Steelers, Browns, AFC North Divisional Showdown. And this game going to be in Cleveland. I don't think Baker Mayfield is playing. I'm not too sure if he was that I would take him or not. But this is an interesting game because I don't think this game is going to be a good game. I think the Steelers are going to end up winning this game because I don't think Chubb is playing. Kareem Hunt still hurt, I believe. So they still might be going into this game without either of them two running backs. And it was good to get that. It's easy to get that dub. Well, it's not easy to get a win in the NFL. But it's one thing beating the Broncos, a team that I think is a fraudulent team who are not a good team. They got to beat the Jaguars and the two New York teams in the beginning of the season. I know what Teddy Midwater is. Now people trying to act like, oh, Teddy Midwater just became bad. Nah. But I think the Steelers are going to win this game. It's going to be an ugly game. It's going to be a lot of running from the Browns trying to run. And like I said, I don't know. I don't think Baker Mayfield playing. I believe Case Keenum's still going to be playing this week. If Case Keenum playing, this could be a hell of a game for the Steelers defense. It could be a hell of a game for the Steelers defense regardless. The Steelers are going to have to worry about stopping that fucking run. That's what's going to keep killing their asses and Ben turning the fucking ball over. If Ben cannot turn the ball over and they can have some semblance of a running game so they don't have to become one-dimensional with the dink and dunks, I'm not watching this game. I'm just telling you right now. I know this is not going to be a great offensive game. I told myself it was a game the other night that I wasn't going to watch because I knew it wasn't going to be a good offensive game, and damn it if I wasn't correct. But this is not going to be a high-scoring game more than likely. If it is, it's because the Steelers found a way to get some turnovers that's for scores and some short fields. But this will not be a high-scoring game. I can't imagine that this neither one of these teams passed the 24-point threshold. I don't think neither of the teams hitting 30. But I'm definitely going to take the Steelers. This might not even get past the 20s. Like, this could be a low-scoring game, to be honest with you. One of them shits you sitting through a defensive battle the whole time, but it's not really that it's a defensive battle. It's that neither of the quarterbacks is really any good, and neither of the running backs can pick up yards. So that's usually what turns defensive battles into defensive battles. Very rare in 2021 defenses just come out there shutting everything down more so than guys just not playing good. But the Steelers offense doesn't look bad. The Bengals offense doesn't look bad. Aside from the running game for the Bengals. Now you got both your best running backs. And, I heard Colin Cowherd say something, or either it was last week or this week, and it made a lot of sense. And I didn't think about this. Baker Mayfield, if you end up paying him, you got to cut other guys. But this wouldn't be the case if. Why do you sign Kareem Hunt to that extra contract when you got a running back who just ran for them type of yards against the Broncos? Why are you paying Kareem Hunt that type of money? Like, it's no point in paying him that, especially when you have Nick Chubb. Like, I understand having a good backfield. Yeah. I'm not saying don't have two good running backs. But what I'm saying is Kareem Hunt is a starting level caliber running back that you pay a lot of money to, which I don't understand. I just don't. After thinking about what Colin Cowherd said, it do not make sense to me that you pay Kareem Hunt, but you don't need him. You pay Odell Beckham. You don't. Not only do you not need him, you don't even try to use him. And your quarterback just can't seem to get a connection with him. You use Jarvis Landry all the time, so I see that. You don't use your tight ends that much no more, which is wild that Baker Mayfield is an average to below average quarterback on most days, and he don't even use one of the things that help quarterbacks become better as a tight end. He don't really throw the ball to this tight end line. I told you, Baker Mayfield is the king of handing the fucking ball off or throwing little short dig and screen routes, bro, and letting everybody else do the work. He is only good off the back of his running backs. If they struggle, he will struggle. That's just how it is. However, with them not playing in this game, I think it's going to be hard for them to overcome the Steelers. Now, the Steelers' offense ain't nothing special. That defense, the Browns' defense has been bad the last couple weeks, and maybe I was fooled by thinking that they was a good defense. One bad week is one thing. 2, 3, 4 bad weeks is another thing. And they look better against the Broncos, obviously, but the Broncos is an offensively challenged team with Teddy Midwater. So, this is another offensively challenged team that I think the Browns could win, but I'm still taking Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. Now, it's not a situation where I don't think the Browns can beat the Steelers. Big Ben 23-3-1 against the Steelers in his regular season. He never played him but once in the postseason, I believe, and he lost to him last year. But I don't think Big Ben gonna be as bad as that game started off last year. Listen, if this is one of them games, because if you've really been looking at the Steelers the last couple of years, they have a lot of close games with the Browns. They just end up coming out on top because, different type of mistakes and things like that. I think it'll be, see, this is the thing with the Steelers. This is a game the Steelers are going to have to win, or the Browns going to have to win, because I don't think either of them two teams is as good as the Ravens or the Bengals. And the biggest problem when it comes to them two teams is, even though I think the Baltimore's defense is probably the worst defense in the division, they still have Lamar Jackson in a good offense. And the Bengals have a great defense and Joe Burrow in a great offense. So it's going to be hard for them two teams who offensively challenged and quarterback challenged and not the best defenses no more to make things happen. But like I said, Baltimore's defense is atrocious. So it could really be very interesting to see how they play these teams later on, especially with Big Ben throwing a lot of dink and dunk routes. So do the Browns, and the Ravens not tackling anybody. Like, it's a weekly occurrence seeing Baltimore let 5-yard routes go for touchdowns for 30, 40, 50, 60 yards and shit. So that's where I'm at with that. But the Steelers, I'm definitely taking the Steelers to win this game. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it probably even be a close game. But I do think the Steelers find a way to get this game. The reason I cannot see the Steelers blowing this game out is because, they just struggled to beat Geno Smith. Like, the defense did all they could against Geno, and the Steelers barely beat them. So, the Steelers should get this win, but it won't be a big blowout and no shit like that. Eagles, Lions. I don't know how many people are going to be watching this game. I'm going to be a whole band with you. I don't even know why most people would sit down and choose to watch this game. But there will be people watching it, just like there will be people who go to this game. Both teams, neither of them good. Obviously, the Lions are 0-7. I'm going to take the Eagles to win just because I want the Lions to remain winless. To me, it'd be hilarious if they go 16-0 and then turn around and be the first team to go 17-0. That would be absolutely hilarious to me, and that would solidify exactly what I think of Jared Goff. He's not a good quarterback. He's damn near not a quarterback when you take the script away from him. He becomes a liability more so than a quarterback. So, for me, definitely not taking the Lions. After I saw, and I'm going to tell you something. After I saw their head coach cry like that, and I said it on the podcast, it's hard for me to pick the Lions to win, man. Like, you got a head coach crying over some bullshit, and, bro, you dead ass can go 0-17, bro. And you crying right now in week 4, it's about to be a long one for you. So, I think the Eagles, and don't get me wrong, the Eagles are offensively challenged. I can see the Lions winning this game, but they're not going to win this game. That's what's crazy. And Sirianni and the Eagles really not that good. I done seen a lot of people talking about Sirianni interview about the flowers and the roots or whatever. But this is a defense Jalen Hurts should be able to do some shit against. Like, I saw Jalen Hurts against the Chiefs. Now listen, Jalen Hurts do a lot of shit when the game is over. Like, he pile up a lot of garbage yard stats that don't matter, empty calories. This is a game where I believe what's crazy is, it's been games where I thought Jalen Hurts would have a decent game, and then they just go out there and absolutely put on an absolute stinker. So anything can happen, but I think the Eagles win this game. It's going to be if the Eagles lose this fucking game, Jalen Hurts might get benched if he play bad. Because this is the worst team in the league. I don't know how you justify losing against this team. Even if you the Eagles. Like, the Eagles defense can show up and make it very hard for Jared Goff. So to me, the Eagles have no excuse. They should win this game. So I'm taking the Eagles to win that game. 49ers, Bears. Another game. Don't know how you're going to go to this game and watch it. I can't imagine it's going to be a high-scoring game. This is a hard game to pick. Don't think either one of these teams are really that good. It's hard for me to decide which one is the better team, to be completely honest with you, because I like Kyle Shanahan, even though his offense completely disappeared Sunday night after the first drive. But And you can blame it on Garoppolo. I don't care. And if you blame it on the fact that there are other quarterbacks already, you need to remember Kyle Shanahan drafted him that high in the draft. So, but I think I'm gonna take the fucking Bears, even though Justin Fields just had an absolutely atrocious game last week. Nah, I'm taking the 49ers. I'm gonna have to fix that graphic because I'm pretty sure I picked the Bears in the graphic. Just ignore the Bear graphic, bro, because I'm probably not gonna change it. These shits take a lot of hard work and time to do. I'm not taking the Bears. I'm switching that. I'm taking the 49ers. I don't trust neither team's offense, but the 49ers defense did not play bad Sunday, even though they did keep getting called for a lot of pass interference that I did not agree with. Because like I said, this shit where the quarterback can keep throwing bad passes, underthrows, and the receiver is specifically with these underthrows that quarterbacks keep throwing, where a receiver will come back to the ball to try to run through the defender to get the ball, and the defender get called for a pass interference. That's insane to me. That's how the offense. That was the offense for the Colts Sunday night. That was their biggest offense. But it didn't matter because the 49ers had no offense for the majority of that game with an offensive guru. So just to me, and I'm not putting Kyle Shanahan in this category with Sean Payton, but people keep calling Sean Payton the guru when, like I've said multiple times, the motherfucker is just dinking and dunking and throwing balls to his running backs, bro. That is all he is calling. He might put a deep shot in there here and there, but most of the offensive play calling for Sean Payton is less than 5-yard run routes and shit. Like, can we please stop calling this man an offensive guru? We could say he used to be an offensive guru, but it's no fucking shot you looking at the Saints' offensive numbers still calling Sean Payton an offensive guru. That's insane to me. Like, what? His offense has not been explosive, the last 2, 3, 4 years, and we keep calling him an offensive guru. All the plays we seeing from him is made by special players like Kamara or Thomas. Like, they throw short routes. They live off of the short routes. They might throw a deep route here and there. And now, just because he don't trust Jameis, I guess, they running this little ugly ass dink dunk, bro. That shit is not going to work in the long run, bro. I don't know why Sean Payton forcing Jameis to play like this. To me, this is just terrible coaching. I don't care about the little wins they done got against bad teams. This is atrocious coaching. I expect the Buccaneers. I'm not gonna hop to that game yet, but this shit will not keep working for the fucking Saints. And I'm talking about the Saints earlier. I'm going to stop right here talking about them because they actually have a game this week. So I'll get to them when I get to them. But the 49ers, I don't want to compare Kyle Shanahan to him, but the offense didn't look good these last couple weeks. So this is an important game. I think he will be able to just straight up outcoach Matt Nagy and Justin Fields and be able to win this game. It should be and I like the Bears defense. I told you that before, but defenses don't matter when your offense can't score. It just is what it is. It don't matter how good your defense is. If your defense not taking the ball back and scoring at least 14 points a game, then if your offense is bad, man, it's gonna be hard for your defense to even matter. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of defenses have dudes with a lot of tackles because they on the field all the fucking time. Offense can't never stay on the field and do shit. So that's personally how I feel sometimes about the Chicago defense. But they are in Chicago, and Jimmy Garoppolo, I put no faith in him. Like I said, it's funny how the life comes at you fast, bro. Just a couple years ago, these boys was in the Super Bowl, and a missed throw from Jimmy Garoppolo, and all these years later, they are just a team that is in flux and in injuries all the time, like losing record ever since the Super Bowl. It's tough, man. That's why you can't take them trips for granted, man. You got to put it out. Cam Newton hadn't got back since he got there. Aaron Rodgers haven't got back since he got there. Like, it's tough. But you got these dickheads like Stephen A. on the air talking, condemning Lamar for not getting to a Super Bowl. But that's neither here nor there. I'm taking the 49ers to win this game. I do believe Kyle Shanahan's offense should be able to do some things against the offense and the Bears that's struggling. And their defense is better to me right now than the Bears, just slightly. But I trust their defense a little bit more. Now, the pass interference shit, like I said, I didn't agree with most of them shits they was calling on the 49ers Sunday, but you got to clean that shit up. That was legit the Colts' only offense. So, and also, I will give The 49ers run a lot of short plays and screens too, because they whole thing is based around the run. But Jimmy Garoppolo gonna have to hit some fucking passes, man. When dudes ain't wide open, you gonna have to still hit some passes, bro. Like Jimmy Garoppolo, good for hitting dudes who wide the fuck open or got a lot of space to make catches. It's when you got to get down to them clutch, tight throws, bro. With Jimmy Garoppolo, just don't do it for you, bro. So I'm still gonna take the 49ers to win this game, just because I like the. I believe Kyle Shanahan will figure this shit out. Put it like that. I believe Kyle Shanahan will figure this shit out. But next game, and maybe I should speed up because we already about to touch the hour mark. But fuck it, it's a podcast, man. Sit back, grab a drink, a blunt, something, and enjoy. Next game, though, we got Panthers Falcons. Boy. So I'm taking the Falcons to win this game. Panthers are a bad team. I've been saying that all year. Y'all took a lot of hype into them beating bad teams. People hate it when I tell them that the team not what the record is, but hey, I'm just paying attention to the teams that these teams beat, man. That's all I'm doing. I'm not over analyzing it or nothing. I just want to see how they beat some of these teams and who they beat. Now, if you playing against like the Bills, they was playing bad teams and thumping them. I didn't question the Bills. I know you do play in front of your schedule. But the Bills also have a level of consistency we done seen the last couple years. The Panthers don't. So I had to be skeptical when I saw them playing against bad teams and beating them. Not only that, Sam Darnold's not a good quarterback. I've been saying it. People kept trying to listen. We can go over this every week if we need to. The Panthers are cursed. Until they decide to build a statue for Cam Newton, publicly apologize, retire his jersey, and it only go up from this point. You know what I'm saying? The longer it takes for them to apologize, the deeper the curse get, bro. All right? So at this point, it's their own stubbornness that's keeping them cursed. And then when you got dudes who say the type of shit that some of these announcers done said, listen, man, what you expect? They give Cam Newton no credit for nothing he did in Carolina, but called bruh the greatest quarterback Carolina had ever had. You just can't do shit like that and say shit like that and think shit gonna be sweet. I keep telling y'all, the Panthers are cursed. And listen, this will be a competitive game because the Falcons aren't that great. They almost lost to Miami last week. Needed a game-winning field goal to win it. So I'm not going to get in here and overhype the Falcons by any means necessary. But no fucking shot. And it's a divisional game. No fucking shot I'm taking Sam Darnold to win this game. That's if you start. They said Matt Rule said that bruh's still their quarterback. And hey, this another way you know the Panthers cursed. They done fell out of the Deshaun Watson trade. So, hey, it is what it is, man. It's a cursed franchise. You know what to do. If you're a fan, hey, tweet the organization and tell them what I said, man. Those are the stipulations of unleashing that curse. And it's not a curse that I created. The Panthers created this curse themselves. Like I said, you can call it the Ace Boogie curse, the Cam Newton curse, then one curse. Call it what you want to. It's a curse. But Dolphins Bills is next. The Bills played a good game last week against the Falcons. But it was the Falcons. Also, this is the Bills coming off of, but not only they coming off a bye week, so they should be fresh and healthy as can be. But they're coming off of a loss also, so they definitely going to want to get that dub. I'm just telling you right now. This going to be a tough game for the Dolphins. I expect Josh Allen and them boys to come out there firing. And really, it wasn't a bad loss against the Titans, to be honest with you. They missed opportunities here and there, but they still was very much in that game and could have won it. I don't think this is going to be a good game. I think the Dolphins about to get... see, the thing about the Bills that I'm starting to learn and appreciate, them motherfuckers smack the teams they supposed to smack. Like, it might take them a quarter or two to get the engine going, but when they get going, they smack the teams they supposed to smack. And I respect that. Like, they don't have their fans sitting around, lingering around in games where they playing against bad teams, hoping that, oh, man, I hope we can finally get it together and win this game. You know, they don't keep you on the edge of your seat. They usually smack the teams they are supposed to smack. I don't know why I'm having a hard time talking today, but I definitely expect them to go out there and smack the the Dolphins. I expect to have the Dolphins on the teams that got murked this week list by the end of Sunday, to be completely honest with you. And also, talking about Tua, I'm starting to feel bad for Tua. I wouldn't even want to be a Dolphin no more. All I'm undone since getting drafted was hear about how I'm about to be traded. Why? I don't know how. The Dolphins think this is going to help Tua's growth by having him in this situation all the time. But at this point in time, I think it's probably about time for him to be traded. Like, you have Matt, and I really believe Tua and them been in an absolutely counterproductive situation. Absolutely counterproductive situation, bro. Much like Carson Wentz was in a counterproductive situation in Philly after the leg injury. Players building shrines for other quarterbacks and shit. Last year you had guys going to bat for Fitzpatrick when he got called, when he was no longer the starter and shit. To me, Tua just been in a bad situation since he done got drafted. And I would love to see Tua out of this situation. And then on a team that fucking want him. That fucking will use him. That's going to try to help him grow. Help him get better. Because Tua is not a bad player in my opinion. Now, I'm not a big lefty fan. Like fans of lefties. But that's neither here nor there. That's not important. To me, they're not really giving Tua a chance to be great right now. Like, all this shit flowing around that he got to hear about every day on a daily basis, bro. This shit hella counterproductive to everything that he is doing. So, they got to clean this shit up, in my opinion. But, I don't think this is going to be the week that it happened. The Bills definitely should get this win. Next game, Pats Chargers. This is a game that I am waiting for. Because, you see, I got a homie who is a Patriot fan, who been talking real greasy about the Patriots and they 3 wins against 3 badass teams. 2 of the wins is against the Jets. Need I say more? They have 3 wins. Jets twice, Texans once, almost lost to the Texans. The Patriots, in my opinion, are still not a good team. Whoop-de-fucking-do, they put up 54 points on the Jets. And listen, they competed against Dallas. They did. They competed against Tampa Bay. That's how some people would look at it. The way I look at it is Dallas missed multiple opportunities. Tampa Bay had a unusually off night. And those lended themselves to the Patriots looking better than they actually do. Because if they was really that good, they could have won all 3 of them fucking games. They didn't. So, I do think the Patriots about to get smacked around in this game. Nah, they're not going to get smacked around. Because as much as I like Justin Herbert, Bill Belichick could have, I think Bill Belichick could make this a tougher game for Herbert. But I do not think the Chargers are losing this game at home. Now, I said Mac Jones played better last week. I want to see him against the Chargers. The Chargers defense ain't that great by any stretch of the imagination. There will be plays that can be had up and down the field. I just looked at Lamar play against them. And while Lamar didn't have no crazy game against him, it was throws and shit that was there. Players dropping balls and shit. They still got blown out on Lamar having half a decent game. Now, granted, Mac Jones ain't Lamar Jackson. But I doubt the Patriots linebacking core done played as bad as the Ravens have. Now, the Ravens had their best game of the season against the Chargers. And the Chargers, what you're going to have to expect against the Chargers, they going to go for it. I'm starting to realize a lot of teams go for it on 4th down now. Like, that just seemed to be a league-wide trend at this point now. Teams go for it on 4th down now. It's just what they do. But the Chargers are definitely going to be going for it on 4th down. And that's a lot of weapons that they're going to have to stop over there. J.C. Jackson not having the time of the season that he had last year and shit like that. You don't got Stephon Gilmore no more. This is going to be a rough game for the Patriots, especially if the Patriots cannot match the score for score with the Chargers. And if, like I said multiple times, Josh McDaniels come in with that dink-ass game plan of dink-dunk. Excuse me. Mac Jones just hit your first bailout if your first read ain't open. No. Let's stop doing that shit and let's keep improving on this offense, helping him get up and down the field, helping him stand in the pocket. And because what's funny to me is, go look at Lamar Jackson. He is a pocket quarterback. But y'all keep giving credit to other quarterbacks for being pocket quarterbacks who ain't as good as Lamar in the pocket. But that's neither here nor there. Mac Jones going to have a big game. And it's not going to be one of them games where he's going to be able to get away with dinking and dunking. Now, I'm pretty sure there will be times in this game where he have dink and dunk plays that go for big gains against this Chargers defense. Because like I said, this Chargers defense ain't all that. But the Chargers will win this game because offense will be their best defense. They will be able to score enough points on this Patriots defense in order to put the pressure on the Patriots offense to score points. And then when you get into that situation, that's when the Chargers defense can start to look, better. Because, listen, the Chargers had to find a way to beat the Browns, right? The Browns have a great running game. The Chargers found a way to win that game. The Patriots running game ain't the Chargers running game. Ain't Cleveland's running game. So this is a winnable game for the this could be a shit, man. I can't even remember what I'm saying because I'm trying to do two things at once. But the moral of this conversation right here is the Chargers are, I think, gonna win this game because the Patriots offense might not be good enough. It haven't been good enough this year, in my opinion. And the dinking and dunking that they do, they're going to have to take shots up the field, bro. Because Justin Herbert, we just saw Baker Mayfield think that he was going to be able to beat Justin Herbert by dinking, dunking, and letting his running backs do all the work and then trying to rely on the defense. No. Justin Herbert is a far better quarterback than that. Shit, you saw it tonight. Aaron Rodgers, yeah, he was doing a lot of dinking and dunking and shit, but at the end of the day, he did make plays that needed to be made when you need your quarterback to make plays. Now, they didn't convert on. I don't know why they didn't run a quarterback sneak when they was that close to the goal line. Most people be running quarterback sneaks. That shit seems to work a lot. But I'm not here to question decisions after they done happen when they not blatantly obvious on what you should have done. Because like I said, I would have just kicked the field goal and tried to make them motherfuckers score. They had not shown me all night that they could just go up and down the field on me relentlessly and score on our defense. That's just me. I'm not like that in every situation, obviously. But just in this situation, that was what I was thinking. But Chargers should win this game. This is going to be a game where, like I said, the dinking and dunking ain't going to work because you're going to have to compete against Justin Herbert. That motherfucker not coming out there to dink and dunk you to death. Justin Herbert going out there to go up and down that field vertically. If Mac Jones and Josh McDaniels not ready for that type of pressure or that type of game plan, it's about to be a dub, bro. And it might get embarrassing, to be completely honest with you. Just knowing how the Chargers can put up points. So Mac Jones going to have to ball out if they want to beat this Charger team. Because this Charger team not going to be an easy team to beat just because they got blown out by Baltimore. But like I said, teams have bad games. It's a long season. It's an NFL season. Motherfuckers take a lot of damage during the season. So, hey, teams going to have off games. The Chargers coming off of a bye week. So they should be fresh and ready to kick some ass. So, and they've been training, basically been preparing for the Patriots for the last couple weeks. So, definitely taking the Chargers to win that game. Going to be a big game for the Patriots to see what they offense and how far along they came against a team that's going to be there in the end. Next game is a game I don't know how many people. I done said this twice. I don't know how people going to watch this game. I don't know how people are going to force themselves to watch this game. The Jaguars taking on the Seahawks. Trevor Lawrence taking on motherfucking Geno Smith. Now, I'm pretty sure I said it. I believe it was on this podcast that I said it last time that Pete Carroll's bozo. Don't believe anything that comes out of his mouth. He did a lot of hyping up of Colin Kaepernick before not signing him. I don't know why you play this whole charade knowing damn well you wasn't going to sign him. To a lot of bozos that might sound cute and shit like that. Oh, well, he gave him an opportunity. No, he didn't. And I don't know why he would ever speak on Cam, knowing he's not going to give Cam an opportunity. So, Pete Carroll's, I hope Russell Wilson leave in the offseason. A lot of people out here talking about Russ might leave. I don't know nothing about that, but I hope he do because I'm tired of him making Pete Carroll look good. Pete Carroll get a lot of credit when, in my opinion, he is an average coach who had a lot of unbelievable, ultra talented players. All players who ended up hating that motherfucker, basically. Pete Carroll tried to put his stamp on the team, cost him a Super Bowl by not handing the ball to Marshawn Lynch. You can keep trying to fool yourself all you want to by bringing up stats and shit on why they shouldn't have handed the ball off. You're just an idiot. There's no reason for him not to have handed that ball off to Marshawn Lynch, especially since Russell Wilson was not the player that he is now back then. And even then, even today, Russell Wilson could get a little bit too happy with the throwing and start turning the ball over like crazy. I mean, y'all remember that turnover streak Russ had last year? Russell Wilson have some of the ugliest streaks of turnovers in the NFL. Like, people like to talk about Jameis and all these other dudes, rightfully so, but Russell Wilson be having streaks of just atrocious turnovers. But Pete Carroll, can't speak enough on how much I think the dude's a bozo. And I'm not talking about the man personally, just the head coach. Like I said, way too much credit given to him for the shit that those players was doing. He wasn't the one calling that defense, putting him in that position. You had Richard Sherman, one of the great defensive backs of the game. Earl Thomas, who was the best free safety for the longest when he was in Seattle. Cam Chancellor was easily the best strong safety in the NFL when he was in the league. Then you had Brandon Browner on the other side. You had you had Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright in their primes in the middle. Like, it was so many different all-pro stud players on that team. It wasn't a shit ton of coaching being done by P. I mean, all he used to do was hand the ball to Marshawn. It don't take a rocket science to do that, and maybe it do, because the one time he should have handed it to him, he decided to throw it. So Pete Carroll, in my opinion, is one of them coaches who get way more credit than he deserves. People talk about, he turned the franchise around, he developed Russell Wilson, when in actuality, I think he's holding Russell Wilson back. Russell Wilson's numbers would be stupid if he played for a more offensive-minded head coach who didn't force him to hand the ball off so much. Like, Pete Carroll, for the longest, had been trying to force Russell Wilson to be king handoff. He trying to get him to be Baker Mayfield so bad, when in actuality, Russell Wilson actually is a great thrower of the football. And I understand why he would be tired of playing in Seattle and want to play in an offense that lets him throw the ball more. And then you got people who will be like, now he turning the ball over and shit. Like, who gives a fuck? Quarterbacks turn the ball over all the time. Talking about, you see Patrick Mahomes turning the ball over, you're not going to tell him to stop throwing the ball. So it's funny how the media pick and choose to bitch about turnovers and shit like that. Who they choose to do it to. But Russell Wilson, I definitely hope leave fucking Seattle in the offseason. I hope Sierra's in his ear saying, we're tired of living here. Seattle probably a very nice place, probably a quiet place. If so, that's my type of place that I would like to live. But because I'm not with the noise and the theatrics outside of my house and shit, all that paparazzi everywhere and shit like that. I don't know how motherfuckers in LA do it, but I really think Pete Carroll has been given a pass for being an average head coach. And maybe that's being disrespectful. Maybe he ain't even. Maybe he's a good head coach. But to give him all the credit all these years for all the shit that Russell Wilson, Marshawn Lynch, and those studs on defense had bigger hands in than him, and then watching him cost him that Super Bowl, always going to be a sour feel from me to Pete Carroll. But this is going to be a tough game to watch. I really don't know who the fuck going to win this game, to be completely honest with you. The Jags are a bad team. Seahawks without Russ are a bad team. You clearly see how bad the team is without Russ. Don't know how Bobby Wagner is still on that team, putting up with that shit. Usually dudes like him, I do know he probably would want to retire a Seattle Seahawk, but I just think Bobby Wagner got enough left in the tank to go be a Super Bowl, to play on a Super Bowl contending team and make a difference for those teams. Like, could you imagine Baltimore with Bobby Wagner right now? Could you imagine Bobby Wagner with the Bucks right now? Or with a fucking contending team right now, the Packers? I mean, any team that's contending. Shit, the Chiefs could really use that motherfucker right now. The Chargers could use that motherfucker right now. The Raiders could use that motherfucker right now. It's so many good contending teams right now that could use Bobby Wagner. And to me, his talent is just being wasted. The rest of his career is being wasted with that atrocious defense in Seattle. Everybody that motherfucker came up with is gone now. KJ Wright was the last one. He gone. So I pray to God Bobby Wagner eventually go to a better team so he can compete. I don't think Seattle is it no more. I think that done ran its course. To me, it's just too many offenses in that division that are more explosive than Seattle's. Too many defenses that's better than Seattle. Too many new, better, innovative coaches than Pete Carroll. And Russell Wilson is basically stuck knowing that they go as he go, because if he have a bad game, they will lose because his defense will not lift him up. And if he has a great game, they could still probably lose because his defense is atrocious. So I don't know what Russ do at this point, but I do think he need to find a way to get the fuck out of Seattle. I think that done ran its course. But listen, if he do decide to stay in Seattle, I think it's time to let Pete Carroll go. Now, I know what you're saying. Oh, you can't just fire head coach. Well, y'all be trying to put Mike Tomlin on different teams all the time. So I can do what the fuck I want to do. I believe Pete Carroll's time in Seattle has run its course. He is not a good offensive coordinator. Whoever they got calling offensive plays over there is not a good offensive coordinator. I know Geno Smith is not that great, but there's no reason why this offense should look that bad week in, week out with DK pacifier. The what's the dude's name? The other receiver, the stud receiver that I think is actually a fucking stud. He hella underrated. And his name right there on the tip of my tongue. But y'all know who I'm talking about. The other receiver for the Seahawks who Russ hit the deep balls to all the time. He is stud. Now the running game haven't been great since Marshawn. Chris Carson hurt. I remember that one year where damn near every running back on their team was hurt and they had to go get Marshawn Lynch. But this team's not changing. Their defense hasn't gotten any better. It looks like it gets progressively worse. They're clearly, and this is what's always funny to me. So I think it's very easy over time to tell who really is good at drafting and who really just ended up getting good players in a draft. Because if you look at Pete Carroll, people like to talk about, I remember how people used to always say, oh, Pete Carroll's so great at drafting. Did Pete Carroll have a good little stretch of drafts, or is he really just great drafting? Because Ozzie Newsome, you can go through a history of him drafting great. After Pete Carroll, well, who's Pete Carroll's best picks after taking Russell Wilson, Richard Sherman, and mind you, he didn't even draft some of these dudes. Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, Brandon Browner. Who are the cornerstones he done drafted? Because nothing done worked. The Griffin brothers haven't worked for you. One of them is now, neither one of them on the team no more, but one of them is now playing with Jacksonville, I believe. That's who he played for. And KJ Wright was a stud when he was there. So, if you look at all these talented guys who, to me, are no misses for most teams. Like, you could put these dudes on most teams and they're going to still shine just as bright. Richard Sherman done it for one. He done went to different teams and been great. KJ Wright waited too long. He's older now, so I can't judge it. All his prime was spent in Seattle. He was a damn good tackle. And that's the one thing that I loved about Seattle. They were probably one of the greatest tackling teams you ever saw. They see ball, they tackle you. You do not pick up extra yards against that Legion of Boom. The defenses since that time have been so progressively worse for Seattle, bro. I just don't know how Bobby Wagner hanging around, bro. That's all I'm saying. But I don't know who to take in that game. I just take the Seahawks, because both teams is bad. But yeah, I take the Seahawks in that game. Next game, Washington Broncos. The Broncos. Not a good team. I say it all the time. Not a good team. This team. So, I just think it's funny that this team has not picked up a win since beating them bad teams. But everybody kept trying to tell me how good Teddy Bridgewater was. I was a hater. Blah, blah, blah. And now you see what the team really is. Now that they're not playing against bad teams all the time. Now, the team they about to play, not really that great. Washington football team. But I'm taking Washington football team to win that game. Don't know why. Because I haven't watched a ton of Washington football games this year. But I don't trust the Broncos at all. And we're moving on from that. Actually, first, let me talk Vikings-Cowboys, bro. Yeah, let me talk Vikings-Cowboys first. Cowboys should win this game. I do not trust Kirk Cousins. This is a big game. There's no way Dak Prescott And now listen, Cowboys are beatable. They've been beatable the last couple weeks, but they are the best offense in the league. I believe they average the most points. And I think it's going to be a struggle for the Vikings defense. It's not to say Vikings defense of old to consistently stop the Cowboys. The Cowboys be stopping themselves a lot, to be honest. But listen, Kirk Cousins and them boys almost let the Panthers come back and beat them. They done lost games that they probably should have won this year. This could end up being ultimately a good game if Dallas decide to be dickheads like they was against the Patriots. If they decide to shoot themselves in the foot time and time again, yeah, this could be a competitive game. And like I said earlier, most games is decided by a few points, so it could be a competitive game regardless. But I believe Dallas is the better team all around. Dallas is the better team. Dallas should win this game. Dallas is, to me, one of the best looking teams in the NFC. Dallas, the Bucks, the Rams, and the Cardinals all look great. The Cardinals, like I said, had a bad night tonight. I'm not going to hold that against them. Every team has a bad game. But the Cowboys, one of the better looking teams in the NFL to me. Definitely one of the best looking teams in the NFC to me. I expect them to go out there and get this win against the Vikings. Zimmer probably going to coach up a good game. I think Coach Zimmer is a good coach. I don't think it's time to fire him. I think it's time to, even though that's something they might eventually do to try to go in a different direction coach-wise, because he have been there for a minute, and they really haven't really gone further than, the second round every year or whatnot. I think, I know a lot of people don't want to blame Kurt because he put up a lot of big stats when it's all said and done. But if you look at Kurt when it's time to make plays that matter, he don't make the plays that matter when they matter sometimes. Like, it's easy to give him a bunch of praise for these gaudy stats and numbers that he put up every year. But when you look at where they are at the end of the year, what was all those garbage stats for? Because a lot of the times they losing and he putting up them garbage stats. So, like I said, interesting how people judge quarterbacks. I like Kirk Cousins. I don't think Kirk Cousins is a franchise quarterback anymore. As good as the numbers he put up sometimes, to me, you just got to know the difference. This is a game that the Vikings definitely could, compete in. But if I'm being honest, the Vikings haven't really looked that great this year either. They don't look beatable even in the games that they don't won. So Dalvin Cook can definitely come through, have a big game if he's healthy and he plays. And obviously Justin Jefferson is a stud. Adam Thielen still got a lot left in the tank, look like. But I'm definitely taking Dallas to win this game. I just think, I think the offense don't look great. I think the offense don't look good. The defense don't look straight. I wonder, can Trayvon Diggs come down with another interception? I believe that this could end up being a good game if Dallas don't come in and do what they're supposed to do. But regardless, I do believe Dallas will win this game. Now, let's talk about the game that I skipped over. Buccaneers Saints. I was going in on Sean Payton earlier, man. Then I had to change it. I don't understand why Sean Payton continues to try to baby James. It's not even babying. It's just he don't trust Jameis Winston. And I think this is such an ignorant situation because it's hella quarterbacks in the NFL who get far more trust and leverage with their quarterbacks. With their coaches who are nowhere near as good as Jameis. Like, Sean Payton is legit treating Jameis like he's Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill has never done anything of value in this league. Jameis Winston has been a good quarterback to great quarterback in this league. And the way he playing him right now is just so frustrating, bro, when you know what Jameis Winston can do. And this is on Sean Payton. None of this to me is on Jameis Winston. If Jameis Winston go out there and start throwing picks all around the yard, I'm blaming Sean Payton. You held the trigger back on him for so long this year. You done made him play so afraid this year, dinking and dunking and all. If I'm Jameis Winston, there's no shot that I want to come back to New Orleans. But I know because of the situation he will. Because, listen, Jameis Winston was the difference in that Bucs team being a good team. All those turnovers, you take them away, put Tom Brady in, who don't turn the ball over nearly as much, and they get to a Super Bowl and win it. Wasn't going to happen with Jameis Winston in the way he turned the ball over. However, a lot of quarterbacks turn the ball over in Bruce Arians' offense. And I know Jameis turned the ball over a lot since he's been in the league. But, bruh, if you're not even going to try, if you're not even going to try to let this man be some semblance of what he can be, I don't understand what was the purpose of re-signing him or making him your starting quarterback. Because with this limited ass offense they got him running, I'm surprised that they got the record that they have right now. And like I said, people gonna keep calling, oh, he an offensive guru, and everybody gonna keep blaming Jameis and blah blah. But what's gonna happen when you get late in the season and you've been dinking and dunking all year and you don't got players who can go up and down the field, because that's not something they done had to do all year, and you playing against defenses who done studied you, who know that you don't attack the field? It's going to get real ugly. And they going to blame it on Jameis, because that game going to come, and it's going to be a lot of turnovers and a lot of unable to pick up third downs. There's going to be some fumbles in there. There's going to probably be some short picks that bounce off of people's hands and shit. You're going to see all that. And it's because of how Sean Payton is calling these football games. He's calling these games not to win them, but not to lose them. And anytime you coach like that, nothing good happens, bro. He is holding Jameis Winston back, much like Belichick was holding Tom Brady back. These dudes, and Tom Brady is clearly a far better thrower of the football than most people thought he was. Most people thought Tom Brady was just a dink and dunker, bro, because he was playing in that garbage-ass offense. And he was so better than we gave him credit for even then, that he was able to turn that offense into a Super Bowl winning offense. But you got these other people doing this dink and dunk shit, and it just don't work. That's why I'm not going to hold it against the Cardinals. And specifically, I'm not going to hold it against Aaron too much, because that's not the offense that they run. Even though he have been doing that a lot more recently, I know that's not what they go out there and do on offense. The Cardinals do run those type of plays a lot, but they usually do more of trying to get up and down the field than they did tonight. So, not going to hold that against them. The Saints have been doing this shit for the last couple years. Even when they had Drew Brees. Now what's the excuse? Because Drew Brees' arm was weak. Okay, Jameis's is not. If you literally playing him like this just because you scared of him turning the ball over, bro, just trade him. Or just fucking put Taysom Hill in. Because this is not funny. This is not cool. This is going to and watch, I'm just telling you, Saint fans, this is going to come back to bite you in the ass based on how this bozo coaching y'all, bro. Based on how Sean Payton. Now, Sean Payton is the one that's interesting to me because he is tenured. He been over there for a long time. And the Saints, to me, have been stuck in the same spot year after year. They make the playoffs again now. Very rare that they even win one game when they get to the playoffs. Now, they don't look nothing like. And it's so funny because the Saints could be way more explosive if they just let Jameis throw the fucking ball. If you are the coach that you think you is, and you got the defense that you supposedly have, Jameis throwing 1 or 2 picks shouldn't be costing you. You shouldn't be worried about that. Like, I just don't understand the logic of how they coaching right now, throwing it to the running backs all the time. I understand Alvin Kamara is a great player. I'm never going to want to play in an offense where the running back get the majority of the fucking throws, bro. That is absolutely insane, bro. That's like that Patriot offense time they used to run where James White and the fucking running backs getting all the catches. Like, nah, B, that is trash. And that's exactly how the Saints running playing right now. And Sean Payton ain't no fucking Bill Belichick, and Jameis ain't no fucking Tom Brady. So let's see how that work out in the end. Let's talk about Tom Brady. And I got the Bucks winning this fucking game. if you couldn't tell based on all that shit that I was saying. And it's in New Orleans. Don't give a fuck. I want to talk about Tom Brady real fast. And I don't know if I mentioned this on a different podcast this week or last week. But bruh, what's been going around the internet, and I had to talk about this one. This bozo fan, man, who got, so Tom Brady threw his 600th touchdown. Mike Evans catches it, inexplicably gives it to a fan. Boom. The fan right there should have left the fucking. First, take all the pictures you need to take to make sure it's authenticated and all that shit, even though it can be very easy to find out if that was the authentic one or not. And you create that eBay account or you create that auction right then and there. That ball is going to be generational. That ball is the only 600 touchdown. And I heard some bozo say, oh, well, he threw another 2 touchdowns. So really, that one out is important as the other 2 because every time he throw it, it's going to be a record breaker. Clearly, you don't understand how these things work. That 600 ball is the first. Yes, of course, he was going to break it. They knew he was going to break it after that. All those other balls ain't as important as when he hit the 600. When he hit 650, that will be important. When he hit 700, that will be important. All them other passes, they don't care about. I'm just telling you how it works. So, that is the first 600 touchdown pass ball in the NFL history, right? Thrown by the GOAT, right? Why would you give that shit back to him before the game even ended? Not only that, you didn't even give it to Tom Brady. You gave it to a trainer. So you didn't even make Tom Brady be the one who came and take it from you. Just bozo behavior, atrocious negotiating all around. Like I don't understand how this happens. Do you not have friends in your corner? Like, how does this happen? It's no shot that ball should have left your possession for less than $5 million, bro. You got to understand supply and demand, my boy. They going to want the NFL, Tom Brady in the Hall of Fame going to want that football far more than you going to want that football. But you having that football going to continuously raise the value. Don't listen to these dickheads who be like, oh, that football not going to be worth much. That's stupid. They want that in Canton or in a Hall of Fame museum, and I'm pretty sure Tom wants that. That ball is going to sell big. It won't now. Now it's priceless, basically. Now it's not going to touch the price that it could reach because it's Tom Brady's in his possession or in the NFL's possession. You have that ball. You just changed your whole situation. I saw somebody say, matter of fact, somebody tweeted it to me because we was talking about it. I had a long conversation with somebody on Twitter about this, and he was like, I hope this dude ain't never got money problems, because every time he's struggling with money, he gonna think about this situation. And you right, he is. He knew this, because I heard a report that said that he was trying to tell Brady like he wanted to play golf with him. Like, for one, this bozo was asking for the wrong things anyways in the trade. Like, this clearly a man who don't know how to negotiate. Tom Brady said on the Monday night thing with Peyton and Eli that he should have held on to the ball. Peyton was talking about how the dude clearly was an amateur negotiator. That was being nice. Dude was a bozo. It's just no shot. At the bare minimum, that's $1 million ball. And let them play hardball, bro. Let them say, oh, no, we're not paying that for the ball. All right, cool. I'm going to keep this ball in my house. I don't want to interview about the ball. I don't want to do nothing. There's no chance y'all get this ball until you meet my demands. I'm telling you. They can't just create a new ball. They're not going to want to put the importance on the other ball. That's the ball they're going to want. Supply and demand. You got to understand want and need. They need that ball. You wanted that ball. They need it. They need it and want that ball. Dude blew an easy bag, bro. Mike Evans handed you $1 million plus bag, and you handed it right back before the end of the game to a trainer, not even to Tom Brady. It's absolutely unexplainable. This is just further proof that just too often in this society, good things happen to bozos, or good things happen to stupid people. And I'm not trying to offend nobody. It just is what it is. You tell me how you feel if you catch that ball. If you get that ball handed to you, is you giving that ball back? And don't cap. Don't cap. Now, if you one of them nice people who, oh yes, I'm definitely gonna, hey, I don't condone freely giving up a bag, but that's on you. Your stupidity is your issue. There's no shot Tom Brady see that ball for at least a month while that's in my possession. Somebody said the ball was only valued at $500,000. No. It was valued at $500,000 in that moment. That shit raises in value every single day it's in my crib, because they gonna want that ball. You could lie to yourself all you want to. The man knows he just gave away a bag. And then what's funny is when you look at all the shit that the team gave this man in return for the ball. They basically gave him nothing. He got $1K to the team store. Great. They gave you money to give back to them. Whoop-de-fucking-do. It's like a GameStop trade. It's unbelievable what just transpired. But Tom Brady just got off on one. Straight fleeced the man. The man fleeced himself, as a matter of fact. But I'm taking the Tampa Bay Bucks to win that game. I just had to get through that. That was very. I can't wrap my head around that. I really can't wrap my head around that, man. That man gave up a free bag, bro. Free of charge. He just said, here, take it. I don't want it. Season tickets for next year. My guy. Tom Brady might retire at the end of the year. What would them season tickets be for? So, just bad negotiating on every single level whatsoever. But taking the Bucks to win that game, that's gonna be a big game, bro. That's gonna be a big game. But Monday night game, bro. The last game. Do I talk about the Monday night games on Sunday night when I break down the thing? Who cares? We're talking about it now. We're talking about it now. Giants, Chiefs, because this ain't no game that's going to need a whole video anyways, man. I'm taking the Chiefs to win this game, obviously. This is not the Panthers. They're not going to go in there and do the bullshit the Panthers just pulled. Even with a defense as bad as the Chiefs have, and it is a bad defense, they should beat the Giants. I don't think Saquon back yet. I don't think Kenny Galladay back yet. Daniel Jones had a one-handed fucking catch against the Panthers, bro. That should tell you what the Panthers are right now. But that should tell you what the Panthers is right now. I saw that shit. It was like, the Panthers trash. Ain't no way we letting Daniel Jones catch that shit on us. One-handed. But, hey, it's the Panthers. They're cursed. But I'm not taking the Giants to win this game. I don't give a fuck how bad the Chiefs defense is playing. I don't care how bad the Chiefs defense keep playing. I took the Titans to beat them because that's the Titans. I ain't stupid. I ain't taking the Giants to win this game. Even if the Giants had Saquon Barkley playing, would not take them to win this game. The Chiefs the Chiefs may be struggling. They ain't struggling that bad where they finna be losing games that they supposed to be winning. And you can say, well, they supposed to beat the Titans. The Titans are a good team. Anytime two good teams play, anything can happen. The Giants are not a good team. Now, I know there's people out there saying, well, the Chiefs ain't a good team either. Well, they still got Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid, and Tyreek Hill. Don't care for any of the players on the defense, not even a Honey Badger. He's not making any difference on that defense. Defense is bad. But when you have that type of players on offense and that type of quarterback, you can get it done. Now, do I expect Patrick Mahomes to turn the ball over in this game like he been doing the last couple weeks? Yep. Can't help himself. When you've been getting away with the shit that he been getting away with for the past couple years and you don't want a Super Bowl and everybody telling you how great you are, you got the commercials, you got the fan appreciation, you got the adulate, you got all these Hall of Famers telling you that you one of the greatest to ever do it. It's hard not to start sipping your own hype and, believing in your own hype and shit. So I'm not even mad at Patrick Mahomes for that. But I will say is this. You do have to calm that shit down, buddy. You do have to calm that. Listen, Patrick Mahomes is that. I saw a thing on Twitter this week where it showed a video of Patrick Mahomes just sitting in a restaurant, I guess, and his brother and his wife doing these ugly, goofy-ass dances. And somebody was like, I feel so bad for Patrick Mahomes. And I tweeted, don't. He chose that life. Like, what the fuck you feel bad for him for? And some dude tweeted me and was like, huh? You know what I'm saying? And when I saw the tweet, I was like, what a bozo. Like, I didn't respond. That's a lesson, man. Every time somebody responds to you, doesn't mean you have to respond to them. Okay? The only thing that would have happened from that interaction was bozo behavior. Dude was about to say some bozo type shit. What I tweeted was very easy to understand. You didn't need a rocket science. You didn't have to be Einstein to understand what I tweeted. Anytime you tweet something that's simple to understand and you got motherfuckers who try to, or try to ask you, I don't understand. Those are bozos who they trying to bait you into starting up some bullshit. That's all. He was about to try to start up some bullshit, try to tell me how Patrick Mahomes didn't choose that situation, blah, blah, blah. He probably going to take some shots. I didn't give him the time of day because I didn't need it. I knew what was about to transpire, and I chose to not engage with a bozo. Just because you see bozos and you see bozo behavior taking place doesn't mean we have to engage in it. You know what I'm saying? So I let that one ride. But Patrick Mahomes chose that life. He don't got to hang out with his brother all the time. He choose to. He didn't have to marry her or fall that girl. He chose to. He chose to be with her. So what do you feel sorry for him for? But Chiefs should get back on their horse and win this game, man. There's no two ways around it. They should definitely win this game. But with that being said, I believe that's all our fucking games. Let me make sure. Yeah, man. That is all the fucking games, meaning that we have come to the end of another episode of Kicking It with Saint podcast, man. I appreciate y'all for joining me, man. It was a long one, but all of these shit's gonna be long now because I'm getting better at what I'm doing. I'm getting more knowledgeable to things I talk about. I'm starting to, really commit heavily to this. I'm starting to get, you know what I'm saying? I'm growing like everybody growing the things that they do. I have a real passion for this, so, you know what I'm saying? The episode's gonna get longer because naturally I'm starting to enjoy it more, so I talk longer. I have more things to talk about now. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with it. But I appreciate you for joining me. I appreciate you for stopping by. I appreciate you if you stop by on a weekly basis to hear the podcast and get your predictions from me, man. I really do. We got some bad games that's going to happen this week that I have absolutely no interest whatsoever of watching. And if you're a fan of any of those teams, God bless you. But like I said, thank you for stopping by the channel, the video, the podcast. I appreciate you so much. Any view is a big time view for a small streamer. But one day, and one day will come, we're going to be big. We're going to blow up. And this podcast will be heard in multiple areas. That's why you got to get better every time you do something. You know what I'm saying? I go back and watch these podcasts, and listen to them and shit to see what could I have said better. How could I have made shit flow better? You know what I'm saying? Different type of shit, man. But I'm just rambling now, and that's a whole different podcast. I haven't even dropped the Rambling with Saint in a minute, bruh. I haven't dropped that shit in a minute. But don't worry. We got videos, more podcasts in the pipeline coming. I appreciate y'all for watching. I appreciate you for stopping by. I hope you have a good day, good night, good evening, whichever point in time of the day you're watching this video. Be blessed. Be great. Don't be like the dickhead who sold me some fucking CBD and tried to pass it along as loud. We don't play those games. If I don't like the smell, then the pack gets sent back. Have a dope fucking day. Saint is out.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps cause they know what happens next. So without further ado, free smoke. Look, scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much or how you doing what it meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even